Well, Saudi Arabia is facing growing pressure to take responsibility for the death of Khashoggi, but the country's foreign minister said it was still investigating the murder.
I expressed the commitment of the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdulaziz, and the commitment of His Royal Highness Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman to see to it that the investigation is thorough and complete, and that the truth is revealed, and that those responsible will be held to account, and that procedures and mechanisms are put in place to ensure that something like this can never happen again.
Well, let's go live to Istanbul now. CGTN's Michelle David is there for us. Michelle, thanks. And let's start off with the news coming in about the body parts that may belong to Jamal Khashoggi. What are you hearing, though?
Well, these are really based on just one unconfirmed report. That report says that some of the body parts were found in the garden of the Consul General's residence. However, media rushed to the scene. However, police were not there. And we talked to some of the police sources that we have, and they told us that this report was not based on any official statement from Turkish authorities or even unnamed sources from Turkish authorities. So we don't really know how reliable that statement is. And just a few hours before that statement, Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan himself had stated that Saudis had mentioned they had handed over the body of Khashoggi to a local collaborator, and Erdogan emphasized they don't know the whereabouts of his body and they would like Saudis to give the name of the local collaborator. So it doesn't really seem that it's quite credible to believe this story yet.
But President Erdogan did deliver a speech earlier Tuesday in which he vowed to unveil what he called the naked truth. Take us through some of his comments today.
Yes, all his comments basically emphasized that this was a planned, premeditated, savage murder, that it cannot really be something like the Saudi officials have stated so far, a rogue operation or a fight that broke out. He stated this was not a credible explanation to what happened. It was premeditated. That was his main emphasis. He said that many questions still remained. One of them was regarding the whereabouts of Khashoggi's body, but he also questioned why a 15-team Saudi team had arrived in Istanbul and who gave that order for this team to arrive to Istanbul. He called for an international investigation, a transparent investigation to be carried out, and he also called for the 18 Saudis that have been arrested by Saudi officials in Saudi Arabia right now in connection with the Khashoggi case to be tried in Turkish courts in Turkey.
Well, as you've mentioned there, though, that one of the things that President Erdogan said was that those responsible must be held to account, and that an independent criminal investigation does need to be carried out by Turkish authorities. So the diplomatic immunity has been thrown around as a setback to these criminal investigations. So what now?
Yes, that really has been part of the problem right now. It's been so long. The 2nd of October was when it happened. So right now, we've just seen a very slow progress regarding the investigations. And part of that is because of the Vienna Convention and part of the diplomatic rules that apply in this case. Turkish authorities were not allowed to enter the Saudi consulate to carry out a search within the premises where they believe this murder took place. So that really slowed down the investigation. And Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan, also following that search, had mentioned that Turkish investigators had found some toxic materials had been painted over inside the consulate. So it does seem like this amount of time and the diplomatic rules in between gave time for Saudis to cover up some of the clues, some of the evidence that could be very crucial regarding the investigation and to help them find out what really happened to Jamal Khashoggi. It's also been emphasized that joint efforts are being made right now. CIA head Gina Haspel has also arrived to Turkey as part of these efforts.
So, Michelle, just a final comment, though, and going back to President Erdogan's speech there were high expectations of that speech, but the Turkish president did not mention the apparent tape of the killing or the video of the hitman carrying Khashoggi's body. Do you think the president held back any information when he spoke to Parliament?
Well, it seems that he might have, but he did kind of say that he wanted the investigation to be completed so that he could have all the clues, all the evidence, all the findings together and then reveal everything. Of course, the main clue right now, as we're all talking about, is the body of Khashoggi. That is really going to verify the story of whose narrative really is telling the truth. On one side, we have Turkish authorities claiming that potentially Khashoggi was murdered, potentially dismembered. Definitely they're saying it's a murder. On the other hand, we have the Saudi officials saying that it might be a chokehold that has actually caused the death of Khashoggi. But once they find the body, that could really reveal the main truth behind all of this. I think Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan wants to be able to have the backing of real hard evidence when he actually points the finger at someone, because he stated that he doesn't yet want to point the blame at anyone, but he did call on the Saudis to try and hold anyone who's connected with the Khashoggi case accountable, whether it's the one who ordered it or the one who executed the killing.
All right, Michelle Badawi joining us there from Istanbul. Thank you.